I had never heard about this famous black writer until my last year of middle school. I was picked to dress up as Zora Neale Hurston. I learned and studied her life and did a 7-minute presentation talking as I was she. I learned to really like her and appreciate her past. So when I found out about this project for Zora, I took the opportunity to do something most people would stay away from: her gravestone. The cemetery where she is buried is in the beautiful Fort Pierce, Florida, where she lived for many years. It was home to Zora Neale Hurston. It's not an up-to-date landscape cemetery. It's a very old and little piece of land where only people who have lived in that town for so long and their family are buried, which I think means a lot more than a general cemetery. There is much more feelings and emotions inside of it. You can understand the families and their sorrows. I had never been up close and personal to a cemetery until this day, the day I arrived at the Garden of Heavenly Rest, the cemetery this great author is buried in. So for the first time, it was pretty hard walking in. It's like you get hit with so many emotions right when you step foot into this garden. We had just crossed the old fence to where the cemetery is enclosed upon, and quoting one of the students I was with on this visit, "I have just breathed in a soul." This line sounds comical now, but at the moment it was exactly what it felt like. Seeing the gravestones, some from just about a month ago, and some so old that you couldn't even see the date on them. I walked in further and saw the crowd of students around Zora's grave, left my group of friends, and silently walked alone to see her name imprinted on a piece of stone. Just a plain piece of stone, with a white thing, body size, coming out of the grass, which you assume had her in it. Surrounding it were flowers, but just a few, and 2 flower pots that had been knocked over, probably by the wind. On top of it were 2 flowers, one red and one white, a shell and a glass cup. I don't know if there was a reason for this glass cup, or if the person just grabbed the only thing he or she could find, but there is a bigger story behind most objects. Around that big white thing were too many fences on each side to add some touch. They were curvy, like someone would picture waves in the middle of the sea. I photographed the grave and then walked around the whole perimeter of this somewhat broken down cemetery, as kids were in little groups taking pictures of themselves and laughing, almost like they weren't even at a place where people's family members are buried in. I was by myself, taking it all in, seeing people's lives, how long they lived, their names, even their family names. It was all so engrossing. "Look, Alexi," one of my peers waved me over to a beautiful gravestone with 2 hearts and pretty blue flowers all around it, with blue pebbles in the front and a mini statue of a mother and son. One of the hearts said "Mother" in all caps, and the other said "Son" in the same font. The son was only 4 days old. On October 17, 1998, he was born. Just 4 days later, he passed. He would have been my age right now. And the mother passed 12 years after, on the exact same day her son was born, October 17th, 2010. It made me think, was this on purpose? Was it a sign? How did this aching mother meet one's end on the same day her infant was born? This same grave had a Bible verse that I think really has a lot of meaning behind. It was, "Better is the end of a thing than the beginning." Ecclesiastes 7 verse 8. And so this verse stuck with me throughout the day, and everything I experienced, I would think about it ending. I didn't like it, so I found out more about this line, and the following words are, "Thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit." I found some translations of it, and the best one I found was from the New International Version. "The end of a matter is better than its beginning, and the patience is better than pride." When something ends that was bad in this world, it is true that it will always be better than the start of it. But in what context was it used this way? Maybe this mother was suffering an illness and it was better for her to not suffer any longer and be up in the heavens, whether one believes in it or not, with her 4-day-old son. Walking around in this cemetery, with nothing but my thoughts whirling inside of me, made me realize at that moment, things that have ended surrounded me, and we all at some time in our life come to an end also. It's like one of your favorite books coming to an end. You don't want it to, but then again, you can always read it over again, and again, and again. But it's never the same after the first time. In life, you can't reread it, or redo anything. There really aren't second chances, though it depends. Do you even want one? Or it's like that boring documentary you are forced to watch. You can't wait for it to end. Are you content with your life? Because if you aren't, do something to change it. And if you are, stay. Stay just where you are at in your life. But it all leads down to that one simple question. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for everything? Your life, the accomplishments you have achieved, everything, to come to an end?